What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. Thanks for pressing play. Today we're going to be talking about the C8 Corvette Z06, specifically the fact that you can finally get one in one of the coolest colors out there. There's a lot to talk about today, guys, so we're going to jump right into it. All right, guys, so as you heard there in the beginning, we're going to talk about the Z06, but before we do, we're going to jump into a tiny bit of information for the C8 Corvette base model, and that, of course, is going to be something that was given to us from the mid-engine Corvette forum.com. That's talking about the 2023 Stingray getting a $2,300 MSRP increase starting the 13th of June, which is just 2 days ago. Now, we had actually talked about a price increase for the 2023 prior to this, but now effective on the 13th, they're now including the destination charge as well. So the 1LT Coupe base model C8 Corvette will now start at $65,595. If you guys can remember correctly, in 2020 when the car first came out, it was going to be a prime $59,995. So we have seen a little over a $5,000 price increase in just 3 years. For those of you out there who are a little bit upset about this, you got to understand this is pretty common. So as the manufacturer cars get older and older and older into their generation, the price does increase, mostly because of inflation and just to kind of keep up with the current day market. So this isn't really anything totally out of the question. I just wanted to let you guys know that it is in fact real, and it is being enforced by GM as of the 13th of June. So if you have a 2023 on order, you are going to be paying a little bit more for it than you would have in 2022. Now, there are also some price increases for some of the options. I'm going to leave the link in the description down below where you can actually go to the mid-engine Corvette forum.com and see what has gone up in price and whether or not it's something you still want to pay for. But moving on, guys, to the big topic today, and that is going to be the color, the green color you can finally get on a C8 Corvette Z06. Well, kind of. So this is one of those colors that I speculated from the very beginning we were going to actually have available, between a Krypton style green and, of course, a really metallic purple. I thought those two colors would be something that would really set off the Z06 and really just hit it home that this thing was, in fact, a supercar. Well, Chevy has kind of done it. Now, I'm going to get into the details here in a second, guys, but I just want you to marvel at this picture for a second because the car looks absolutely fantastic in this color. And it's not really outside of the question that GM would eventually make this car in this color for everybody, but they're doing it right now for one person. So you could get this car if you really wanted to. Let's talk about how you could do it. Now, again, guys, this information comes to us from the mid-engine Corvette forum.com, but it was also posted on the CorvetteBlogger.com. So what it ends up being is an NFT. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically an image that you actually own the rights to. So you would get an image of the car in that color and also the car itself in that color. So you'd have an image that is 100% yours, doesn't exist anywhere else on the internet, and if it did, it was a copy of yours. So it's kind of like a painting of like the Mona Lisa or something like that, whereas there's only one original and all the rest of them are copies. Now, in this case, you would have this picture, which is showing that car in that awesome green, which GM is calling minted green. Now, Chevy explains this as the color ownership, own the color. And it means Chevy will not apply minted green to another production 2023 Corvette Z06. In addition to a digital certificate of ownership and authenticity for the art piece, the physical Corvette Z06 will carry the option code RFN, which will forever associate the car with this auction and its one-of-one status. So you can have the color, you can have the NFT piece that goes with it, and you would be the only one that has that color. Now, I do speculate that GM is going to make this color an official color for the Z06 in the future. So even though it won't be called minted green, it will be a slightly different shade of green. I do believe they're going to do it eventually. But for now, if you really wanted to do it, you could get into a bidding war with some of the richest of the rich, and you could have this color for yourself. Now, I really like this color. but I don't think I would get into any kind of bidding wars myself personally. I will wait for the 2024 or 2025, whenever that color is available, and maybe I'd consider grabbing it at that point, depending on what's going on with my current Z06, because I really like the idea of stealth wrapping a black Z06 too, so we'll see. But anyway, guys, there's one other piece of information I wanted to talk about a little bit today, and that is the fact that GM has officially brought out some comparison papers showing what the Z06 is like compared to some of its exotic competition. Now, you guys know the exotics have their place in the world, whether the Z06 is there or not. But what GM is really trying to hit home here with this particular comparison is the fact that you are getting a really, really, really good bang for your buck with the Z06 versus some of the exotic competition. Now, I'm not going to read through all this, guys, but I am going to put it up here on the screen for you all to see, because it's basically going over some of the big boys. So we got comparisons to the Ferrari F8, the McLaren 720S, the Audi R8, and even the Porsche 911 GT3. It starts out by saying the Corvette Z06 versus everybody. Challenge accepted. So we already know the Z06 is going to be a pretty freaking beastly car, but when compared to those other cars, yeah, let's see what this has to say. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go through this in great detail. I'm going to put it up here on the screen for all you guys to see, but ultimately it starts off with the Ferrari F8, and it says, obviously, we have the pros and the cons here. The pros are going to be the Ferrari is very exclusive. Only 11,155 Ferrari models were sold in 2021. Twin turbo V8 has 710 horsepower, which is obviously 40 more than the Corvette Z06. The state-of-art aerodynamics render the F8's intakes capable of cooling air to add more power. And of course, beautiful interior styling using quality materials makes the vehicle visually appealing inside and out. Now, the lows. The Ferrari F8 starts at over $302,000. So even if you max out a Z06, you're still talking about over double the price for the Ferrari F8. Poor rearward visibility is common due to the rear louver design. The Z06 obviously offers that digital rear view camera mirror. The rear can drag on inclines such as driveways. There's only 7 cubic feet of cargo space on the coupe versus the 12.6 on the Z06, and the twin turbo design with some turbo lag. The Corvette Z06 is naturally aspirated for smooth linear power. Now, obviously, the real quick glance over here, you can see the pros and cons. The Z06 has performance data recorder, removable roof panel, 2 trunks, 12.6 cubic feet of cargo volume. The side blind zone alert is available, and the Android Auto is standard, whereas on the F8, pretty much none of that applies, and you only get 1 trunk and 7 cubic feet of cargo volume. So moving on, guys, we're going to move on to the McLaren 720S. Again, we're not going to read through all this, so I'm just going to quickly touch on what you get with the Z06 versus what you can't get with the 720S. And then, of course, again, is the removable roof panel, the heads-up display, carbon fiber wheels, rear camera mirror, and wireless Apple CarPlay and or Android Auto. None of that is available on the McLaren 720S, and you're still talking about a car that costs almost twice as much as a fully loaded Z06. And then again, moving on to the 2022 Audi R8, same kind of thing, the retractable hardtop, it's available on a Z06. Wireless CarPlay is standard. Infotainment touchscreen standard, and drive mode selector standard. On the Audi R8, you do not get the option for a retractable hardtop. There is no wireless CarPlay or Android Auto. There is no standard touchscreen. It's actually all driven by a knob or a laptop pad to touch. And the drive mode selector is only available with an additional $3,600 sport package, and that is, of course, on top of the $210,000 this car already costs. Moving on to the Porsche 911 GT3, same kind of thing here again. You get the data performance recorder with the performance data recorder with the Z06, not available on the GT3. The storage is 12.6 cubic feet with the Z06. It's only 4.6 with the GT3. Heads-up display is available on the Z06, not available at all on the GT3. Bose audio system is standard on the Z06 and it's optional on a GT3. Wireless Android Auto is standard on the Z06 and not even available at all with the GT3. So again, guys, there is a lot of information here to go over, but this one is where some of the specs really stand out to me. The Z06 really holds its own against some of the higher end exotic cars, and that is with horsepower. So a lot of these cars that are considered exotic have less horsepower and it's pretty interesting. The only one that really stands out to me as being a little bit more in my realm is the fact that you can still get the Porsche GT3 in a 6-speed manual. I think that's really awesome, but other than that, all of these specs to me really favor the Z06, especially that 0 to 60 time. The 0 to 60 time is literally faster on the Z06 than any one of these supercars. And you're talking about $300,000 plus supercars that the Z06 is going to easily decimate on 0 to 60 runs. Very, very cool stuff here, guys. We already knew the Z06 was going to be pretty freaking awesome, but now there's actual official documentation from GM telling you, yes, it is going to be awesome. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you liked what you saw, please smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content. I talk about a lot of this same kind of stuff in my live videos that I do every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I wanted to also create a shorter version for those of you out there who don't want to watch the Corvette hangout that we have every Monday night, or what I like to call Corvette Weekly. Because it is kind of a wrap-up of all news. It's also a wrap-up of a lot of rumors and leaks that don't necessarily come true, and I usually leave the solid information for these kind of videos for you guys to see in more of a 10-minute range. But anyway, guys, if you like the content, like I said, please hit that thumbs up button. That way I know I can keep making these things for you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I'm going to have a lot of content like this coming you're not going to want to miss. And as always, I will catch you in the next upload.